the Marketing Futurist Podcast, episode number 11. Mind-blowing inspiration to create and innovate. This is your Futurist advantage.
Welcome to the Marketing Futurist Podcast, where your hosts, Mary Catherine Johnson and Kelly Garrett, chat with innovators who are keeping the human in marketing while driving the future of tech to give all of us a futurist advantage.
All right, welcome back, Marketing Futurists. You know who I am, Mary Catherine Johnson, and I get to chat with my amazing co-host and let you get to know her a little bit more. And I'm sure some things will come out that I don't even know because I've only known her about the past 8 months. So welcome to the conversation, Kelly Garrett. She is the head of the number one head cheese of etc. Design and marketing. Hey there, Kelly.
Thank you. Hello. So excited to do this.
I know. I can't wait. Okay, so you got to start off just like everybody else and give us a little bit of background and what brought you to where you are and are on this path to being a futurist.
Yeah. So the question is how far back to start?
Yeah, right. Let's not go back to childhood.
Yeah, right.
Unless you became an entrepreneur back then. But
I did. I sold things as a child, and I think I was meant to be an entrepreneur, ever since childhood. But really, it started more or less in high school when I just was very into design and computer design, and I started doing things on the computer, designing greeting cards, and all sorts of things like that. And throughout high school and college, tried to get jobs that would teach me more of computer design and a little bit of business thrown in. And so I kind of self-taught all of the design side of things. And then when I was in college, decided, oh, hey, I've got friends and family that are asking me to design things for them. I should turn this into a business. And so I thought, well, I need a website. So I taught myself how to design websites and learned coding that way, just on the internet, looking at tutorials and buying books and things like that. And I got my undergrad degree in IT. And as soon as I was done with that, I decided, I think I really want some type of advantage going out into the workforce. So I'm just going to go get my MBA right away. And did that. I went to a full-time program, and it was a very, very intense couple of years doing that. And through that MBA program, I had several marketing and entrepreneurship classes, and that's where I really got the bug and decided, maybe kind of climbing the corporate ladder isn't for me. Maybe I really want to let my creativity be a bigger part of my career, and just dove right into starting my own design business right after college, right after my MBA. And so I started out freelancing, and it was only a few months before I had more work than I could handle and needed to hire another designer. Started that right away. And so as that was going, that was kind of starting to do its thing. I had a brilliant at the time, now looking back on it is just another step in the journey, but had the idea to open a store where we were helping people do design for things like wedding invitations and birthday invitations, kind of on their own or guided with help from us a little bit, because about that time I was getting married and tried to make my own wedding invitations, tried to do all these things myself, and there were not resources online. This was 11, almost 12 years ago. There were not the things online like there are now to be able to make your own invitations or do all these things. And so I felt really alone in that journey and felt like, thank goodness I have the design skills to be able to do this myself. I don't know how other people do it. So had a retail store where we did that for a while. The bottom line with the store was several things. I was doing too many things at once. So I was trying to do graphic design services for people while running the store. Second, it wasn't the right location. Just a lot of rookie mistakes in business. And we closed the store down after a year. And so it lasted a year, which was okay. Considering, and then, decided, well, okay, I really need to make this design service, this agency work. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. And it's been, lots of up and down journeys. For me personally, my business has grown and contracted along with, usually when I've been having kids. I've got 4 kids, and it seems like every time I would have a baby, I needed to scale back a little bit. And so I've had team members. I've had up to 5 people on my team at one point, and, back down to 1, just myself, and every combination in between. So, so I look back at that, and I just feel fortunate to be able to have that flexibility to do that, and really be able to call the shots in when I needed to scale back and when I needed to expand, kind of go back and forth and do that. And so that's been about the last 10 years. The last year has been the amazing journey that you and I are both on with messenger bots. And that has really, catapulted my business and has opened so many new doors of things to, other services that I can offer people and ways to help make their marketing more integrated all across the board. And that's really what I'm all about, is integrated marketing. So that brings me to here and now.
Wow. And so, what I hear with that is that you are open to what's coming and being able to dabble in it and see if it's something that can help you and possibly your customers, even to the extent of opening an actual physical store. I mean, that's a major undertaking. That's not online digital stuff. You have inventory, you have rent space,
Right.
you have lots, insurance, you have all those kinds of things. And to have that experience is something that most people don't have. Most entrepreneurs don't have, at least most entrepreneurs that you and I know.
Sure, right.
The digital
online
nomad kind of people.
Yeah.
So, what pitfalls did you use from that situation, and from that journey that helped you grow and learn to be able to take advantage of now Messenger?
Oh, so many. And I mean, even just, the basic things, as in financing. Like I took out financing for the store. It was a huge expense to get it up and running, and never again will I borrow money to start a business.
Yep.
That was huge. And every time I get to a point where it's like, oh, I've got this fantastic idea, I'd have to take out a loan, or I'd have to do this. Just stops me dead in my tracks, because I have no desire to do that again. Yeah. And the risk taking, you would think that doing something like that and having to close the store and just having these times in business where we've grown and gotten smaller would make me less likely to take risk. But I think the bottom line, the lesson that I've learned from that is that I didn't die. Nothing happened. We, thankfully we didn't ever have to file bankruptcy. We never lost our house. We came out okay. And so it taught me that these scary risks that you think might, completely make everything fall apart, if you're careful, if you're smart about it, they don't end up all that bad. And there's only benefit to gain from it. So I think that's where things like messenger bots are so easy for me to try, because I know that there's really no risk in doing it.
Wow. And so what made you jump on this whole messenger bandwagon? Why do you see that as being a futurist or part of the future?
Yeah, I am absolutely a futurist. My strengths finder is futurist or whatever. And I've always been someone who can kind of see the trends. My family, kind of jokes, because I'll usually, when it comes to like home decorating or design or fashion or something, I'll see a trend happening and I'll jump on it. And 2 years later, it finally comes out in stores. I'll be searching forever for that turquoise top that I love, that color. And then it takes 2 years for it to finally come around. And so I definitely have the ability to see trends and to see what's coming. And I was at the Converted conference in Minneapolis in 2016, October of 2016. So just over a year ago. And I saw Andrew Warner speak. And that was just a transformational talk. I had followed him and Mixergy for a little while. So I knew about him. I knew his podcast, and he got up on stage, and he wasn't even planning on speaking about bots at the conference, but it had become kind of an obsession for him. So he ditched his entire presentation like a week before and switched it to bots and walked us through what you can do with it and showed us some examples. And then he had a bot to opt into, which I did. And then over the next couple of days, we got his messages, and I just saw this, and I've always struggled with building an email list. I help my clients build email lists, and it's like the shoemaker's kids. You know, my own website, my own email list have always been things that I haven't had the time, or I haven't made the time to do what I know needs to be done to it. So when I saw Messenger and I saw this bot that, you know, that was delivering these messages, and I could just click buttons and respond and get personalized answers, I was just absolutely blown away. And I thought, oh my gosh, the barrier to entry for this is so small. And this email list that I've been struggling with, that I'm barely getting like a 15% open rate on, holy cow, it just blows that out of the water. So I don't even know why, but I just immediately saw the benefit in it and saw the future in it. It just, I said, yes, I see how this is going to be a big thing. I've got to get on board with this. From there, it was history. Andrew sent out some messages about teaching people how to use bots, and that he'd get on the phone with us. And I was a little too proud to think that I needed education about it. I remember, you know, getting on a call with him, and I was kind of like, well, I don't really need to learn about it because the software is easy to use. I know how to code websites. I don't know. The software is not going to be a problem for me. But yeah, I had no idea how much Andrew could teach me, and there's still so much to learn about it. It's changing all the time. It's just crazy.
Wow. Well, that leads me into, I mean, obviously I agree 100%. I'm so excited because obviously we met and we were able to see this and do this together. So we know that there are many pitfalls that we've hit in this whole messenger journey. And also, I think you want to bring that to what you just mentioned, integrated marketing. So think about that. And I know that's your future. That's really the future for all of us. All of our marketing is going to be integrated and talk to each other. But what pitfalls are you coming up against in following that future?
Yeah. And again, there's so many. It seems like for every advantage, there's probably a disadvantage, which I think is true of any marketing tool or tactic that we use, because we're marketers. And if you know, for every good marketer, there's a bad marketer, and people who abuse things and go in directions that they shouldn't go. But so, I mean, pitfalls specifically with Messenger is, and I think we've touched on this with a lot of the other talks too. I think there's just this line between how personal is too personal. And when it comes to getting messages from companies, I feel the same way. There's this like line that I don't want them to cross, that I just feel like, okay, that's a little too creepy, stalky. And I think the challenge with Messenger, because, and again, this is a benefit and a disadvantage at the same time, because we get people in the place where they're most, I mean, this is the most personal device. It's on us all the time. It's an appendage for most of us. That's where we're communicating with our moms, with our kids, with our friends. That's a real privilege for marketers to have access to people in that capacity. And so I just feel like it's a very, very fine line to walk. And we have, as we've said in many of the other discussions, we have a responsibility to not abuse that, and to gain and keep our customers' trust. And so that, I feel like, is something that, although people definitely abuse it, I think more often than not, people are not trying to abuse it. And they don't necessarily realize that what they're doing might feel too invasive, or, it's just, as a marketer, we have this tendency to have blinders on. Like, you just can't see things from the other perspective. And so that's where my goal in integrated marketing really comes into play. I have a skill for helping people take all of the different marketing that they're doing. So whether it's on their website, whether it's in email, whether it's on a messenger bot, making an experience for customers that is very seamless and very, trying to think of sophisticated. It's something that's very subtle. And, my bot won Andrew's contest. Andrew Warner held a contest for who could create the best bot. And that was his comment about it, is just that it was very subtle and sophisticated. And it just felt very natural. And the conversation was, not intrusive and just very, I can't think of the right word, but that experience, very seamless for people. And so that's what I do really well. And I help people find those pieces. I think a lot of time marketers have a tendency to segment everything or silo the way that they do their marketing. Like, okay, I'm over here in my email. What's my email strategy? Okay, I'm going to send these messages. Okay, now I'm over here on my website. Let me hire a website designer and focus on my website. And whether or not they realize it, or whether or not they're capable of fixing it, they have this very siloed and segmented experience for their users. It's not the same experience over here as it is over there, even though it's all the same brand and all the same company. And so by helping people kind of work all of those pieces together, it just creates a better experience for people, and what I feel is a much less intrusive and more trust building experience for people across all of their properties, all of their marketing.
So it's cohesive.
Yes.
It's the same message. It's who you are. It's what you offer, and it's wherever you are, is what I hear you saying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy to do. I completely understand why people have trouble with that, because we get bogged down with the technical, we get bogged down with the copywriting, we get bogged down with, all of these different things. And as marketers, all of these things that we have to focus our attention on, and the tools that are out there doesn't make it easy either.
Mm-hmm.
So it really helps to have kind of one vision, or one central polishing, if you will, to kind of make it all that seamless, cohesive experience.
Wow. So with that, I know, the experience is there. You want to integrate everything. I get that. And I agree 100%. But where do you see the future going then to allow you to do that?
Yeah. I mean, I have to just kind of repeat what everybody else has been saying, because it's so true. It's personalization. It is focusing on the people first. And, with that's how the cohesiveness, making sure things align across your marketing, is how you make that happen. People don't want to be sold. Nobody wants to be sold. And so you have to really make sure that you can deliver the right message to them at the right time, and where they're at in the journey. And so if you think of your customers as being on a journey with you, really understanding their journey and knowing what message they need to receive at the right time, and making sure that you aren't just, you're a tour guide. You have to bring them along your business as their tour guide. And any good tour guide is going to make sure that you're transitioning from one to the next. You're not just going to go drop them off at Niagara Falls and say, here, look, it's a waterfall. Great. And then boom. Okay, on the airplane. Now we're over to the Statue of Liberty. No, you're going to have this very fluid transition and this journey that you're taking them on. So that's what we need to be, is a tour guide for our customers, really walking them through our business and what they should experience.
Exactly. And through that tour, what again, how do you see us navigating that tour as marketers looking to take advantage of the future?
I think that the mediums, I think it's easy to get focused on the mediums or the channels. You know, it's all about messenger bots right now. It's all about email a few years ago, and it's all about websites. You know, I think it's important to remember that the channel is going to be irrelevant 10 years from now. I don't think we're going to be communicating in the same way. I mean, yeah, we'll have video. Yeah, we'll have audio, but it's going to be different 10 years from now. And I think it's important to not get hung up on any one channel or any one tool, because those are just tools and those are just channels. And so what the future looks like communicating everywhere and places that we haven't even thought about yet. You see in movies, you walk down the hall, you're at the airport and you're walking along and there's a hologram that pops up and says, "Hi, Kelly, nice to see you, enjoy your trip." There are ways we're going to be communicating that we haven't even begun to see yet. So the important aspect of communicating with customers is making sure that you are able to adapt your message to fit the channel that you're using and to fit where they are in the journey and what they need to hear at that time. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. And there are so many tools that obviously we've spoken with the creators of so many of these tools, which has been such an amazing privilege. So,
Absolutely.
and I know you're using the majority of those tools right now in your integrated marketing for yourself and for your clients. So how can I use that tool? And let me ask you this, which of those tools do you think are going to be most impactful for your business and for your client's business? And which would you recommend that I implement as well and integrate?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I've always tried to keep my eyes out and open to what tools are out there and not really, saying that this is the one tool that everybody must use, because, and especially working with clients, every business is different. And so by telling you, you really should use Drip, Mary, but my other client over here, Susan, she needs to use Active Campaign. There is not one size fits all for any tool out there. I think there are some tools that do a really great job and a majority of businesses will be a good fit for them. Drip, I think, is one of those tools that I really think is kind of leading the way. Like Bob Jenkins was saying in one of the other interviews, is that we're kind of going away from this one size fits all, or like one tool that does everything. And what I love about Drip is that it is trying to be, it is the like center brains of your marketing. And so, yes, it's an email automation platform, but it is so much more than that, because Drip carries so much data with your customers. You're following your customers around online and carrying all of that data with you. You can use a tool like Zapier to transfer data from one place to another, but it's just a parallel transfer of data. I'm gonna try to explain this and see if it all makes sense. But basically, if you're having Susie sign up for a webinar, and you take that webinar registration through email and you use Zapier to pass that webinar registration to Zoom. All you're passing is the email address, and you're saying, Susie signed up for the webinar. That's great, and that's very, very helpful, and Zapier is a wonderful tool that I use a lot. But what Drip does is it can take multiple levels of data and follow Susie around. So she signs up for a webinar. with Drip. Drip captures the fact that she signed up for the webinar. It passes it to Zoom, but then it watches on Zoom when Susie logs in and actually watches the webinar. How long did she stay on the webinar? Was it 5 minutes? Was it 30 seconds? Then after she watched the webinar, did she click on the link that took her to the sales page? And did she read the sales page? Did she, opt in for something else, or did she buy? And it's compiling all that data about Susie as a person, as an individual person, rather than just one action that she took with her email. And that is hugely, hugely powerful, because there aren't any other tools out there that allow you to capture that much data and that depth of data about a single person. So Drip is really focusing on an individual subscriber as a person, not an email address. All the other tools are really focusing on the email address, and that's about all you have. So where that opens the door, so with Drip specifically, where that opens the door is with a tool like ManyChat. If you integrate with ManyChat Facebook doesn't give you an email address. So the challenge with ManyChat is, we have to somehow capture their email address. Well, not necessarily, because ManyChat has a subscriber ID. Mm-hmm. So if we can tie that subscriber ID to their Drip ID, we've linked up their email address and their subscriber ID without having to ask them for their email address. So there's so much power available there with Drip, and it's such a new tool that I don't think that we have yet to see the power that it can have. There are people like Brennan Dunn who are using it to its full potential and are really leading the way with it. But I'm just so excited to watch that tool in particular transform and integrate with other tools to make things happen. I mean, basically every tool that we've mentioned on the summit, like you said, is one that I'm using, and one that I am integrating together with everything else to just make marketing more personalized and more powerful across
and more integrated.
Yes,
Definitely.
exactly.
And so what excites you most about all the things that we've learned and seen in this summit? And it's not even a pinpoint of what's to come and what's available, but still, what excites you most about the future of marketing?
Yeah. So it's the tech. It really is the tech. I'm a techie. There is something about, I think what it is, it's something about the fact that there is a machine doing these things, and I could go down a long route about artificial intelligence. To me, I mean, yes, machine learning, yes, machines can learn, but at the end of the day, who created the machine? The people created the machine. So a machine is never going to be better than a human.
Right. And
I'll argue that all day long, but where I was going with that is that so what gets me excited is really the tech, because it's this machine, it's this thing that is not real, it's not human, it doesn't have the same capacity as a human, and it's just crunching numbers, and it's just doing these things repetitively, really fast, but it's able to give us experiences that are more human-like. And that cross section of that happening, this really, fake dumb, I mean, for really, they're dumb. Yeah. Computers are dumb. I mean, the smartest computer, they can probably process things faster than humans, but they're still stupid because they don't have the emotional capacity that humans do.
Right.
So the fact that you can take that and combine that with, you can make it feel more personal and more experienced and emotional like a human, that is just really fascinating to me. So I look at the future and I get excited for the tools and to see how close we can really get with mimicking the human experience. We'll never get there. It'll never be exactly. No, because people are still at the core of everything.
And each person, so, even that, if I'm the one developing that tool and I have certain limitations in my communication ability, in my intuition, in my understanding of human behavior, then I can only develop that tool to the level that I currently am, and your experiences, your intuition, your relating to other humans is going to be different from mine. So no matter what, we're going to get down to those details that we can
Mm-hmm.
never get past. So a
Yeah.
machine won't be able to do that no matter what.
Right.
So yeah, it's incredible where this is headed, and so many incredible communication opportunities and
Mm-hmm.
societal growth opportunities that we have to learn about each
Absolutely.
other. It's just
Absolutely.
fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
have these conversations is just incredible that we can
Yeah.
wrap our brains around this. Yeah,
Right.
it's amazing.
Yeah. Another point on that too is I go back to the conversation we were having with Andrew from Chat Fuel when he was talking about machine learning and predictive models. And the thing that I find so fascinating about that is really kind of the long tail idea. I have always felt like no matter how personalized a brand is, Target, I think, is an example of a brand who's really good at knowing their customers and predicting things and having really personalized things. No matter how good they get, I've always felt like they can never pinpoint me. I've always felt like, you know what, I am just different. There's something different. They still can't get it. So when Andrew started talking about, using predictive behavior models to kind of reach the long tail, the 1%, that really lights me up and that gets me excited because, and just kind of on a personal note, I had a stillborn. In 2013, I had a baby boy who was stillborn, and it was because of a condition called ICP, intrahepatic cholestasis of pregnancy. And that is a very rare disease, and it's a 1%. So I'm the 1%. I know what it's like to be the 1%. And so when traditionally in marketing, we look at statistics, we look at the most common things. We like our bell curves. We want to see what is the most frequent occurring thing, and let's focus our marketing towards what the majority of people want to see or want to buy. Well, that has always felt just like not good enough for me. Well, I'm the 1%. I feel different. I am different than everybody else out there. How can you reach me? How can you make it more personalized to me? And so, yeah, it's just starting to talk about ways to reach the smaller percentages, the fewer people that are. I'm sure a lot of people feel that same way. That just lights me up. That just makes me so excited.
We all have those things. We all have something in our lives that make us that 1%.
Yeah.
That really is unique to us, and we identify with a very small group of people. And it's still, so I take that and go way back out now, big picture, and say our whole society is trying to make everyone the same.
Yes.
We're all the same, and there's no distinctions, and it's discriminatory to distinguish, and there are definitely ways that is the case. But we are really trying to make everyone the same, whereas our marketing, we are trying to be very individualistic and very personalized and very 1%.
Yeah.
And so when we can really reconcile those two things and be okay with both, then we will have arrived, right? Then we will have arrived at understanding that human behavior is, yes, all the same. We walk, we talk, we are all the same in that respect. We have the human condition. But how we get there and that journey that we take is so unique. And completely specific to us and a very small percentage of people who have gone on a very similar journey.
Right.
Isn't that incredible? I'm just so blown away by that.
It is. And just to think that we are coming close to a time, and we already have some of those tools, but to think we are getting even closer to a time when we can capture that and reflect that experience back to people. It blows my mind. It's just so exciting.
Well, and think about the movie Back to the Future. And I think it was Back to the Future 2 or 3, where she walks in as the girlfriend walks into the house and the house greets her by name, and knows her preferences and knows all that. That's here.
That's here.
That's here. And they were only off by a few years. So
Right.
not too bad. Wow. Okay. So, just like everyone else, what kind of a tool or a tip can you share with our audience that will give them that futurist advantage?
Yeah. And so it's similar to what other people have said, but because I am very much about integrated marketing and focusing on your customer journey, it is that make sure that you can identify a journey that you want your customer to go on. But even more importantly than the journey you want them to go on is to first of all understand them. I mean, that's the marketer's dilemma. Everybody needs to understand their customer. But once you understand your customer, know the journey that you want them to experience and know the journey that they want to experience and that they need to experience. And try to just step back and look at your marketing from their perspective and see, am I being a good tour guide? Am I taking them from the very beginning, right where they're at? Maybe they don't know anything about me. They maybe don't even know very much about the problem that they have, but they have a problem. They just maybe haven't identified it yet. Really step them through your journey, lead them through, make sure that every point where you transition from either one channel to another channel or from one stage in your lead generation process to another stage, making sure that those transitions are really smooth and that overall you are reflecting the right tone, the right look and feel that you want to reflect your brand. And if you do that, your customers will have the best experiences and it will make the decision for them to work with you so easy. We won't have to sell them on anything.
That's it. Personalization, understanding the adventure, understanding the story, understanding what they need, and providing that adventure for them with your product.
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's incredible. I can't wait to see what tools you're going to use in the future. I can't wait to see. I'm going to definitely follow your lead because I know if I just keep you in my connections, I'll know what's coming in the way of technology. So you besides that reason, you've got a friend for life. So.
Well, of course. And likewise, this journey has been amazing to be on together. And frankly, I think I'm only here this far with it because of what you and I have done together. So this is just the beginning, I know for sure.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and what you've done and what you see as the future of marketing, because I think you hit it right on the head.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this with me.
Get your Futurist advantage by joining our Facebook group at marketingfuturist.co/group and tune in for our next journey into the future of marketing.